Today I wanted to talk about the houseplants that are growing the fastest for me at the moment in my conditions. And the one I'm starting off with is this Triscantia Nanuk, and just check out how big this has got. I honestly can't believe how fast this has grown. It is getting massive. And one of you did quite rightly say in the comments that Triscantias do eventually go into their ugly phase where they look a bit leggy and kind of messy, and that is so true, they definitely do. But right now I'm enjoying this one whilst it's in its pretty stage. And yeah, I did recently repot this one too because it really outgrew its pot as well. But yeah, I'm just amazed at how big this one is currently getting, and it's just growing like mad. And I haven't actually propagated this yet. I have considered maybe doing a little bit of chopping and putting some of the cuttings into the middle to get the middle a bit fuller, but right now I kind of like the vibe that it's giving me. It's kind of quite nice like this, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it in its moment. I know that it's temporary, but that's okay. Everything in the physical world is temporary anyway. So yeah, I'm just enjoying it in its moment at the moment, just looking nice. And I currently have this one in a window where it gets some nice bright indirect light, and it does seem to be responding really well to that. I did have it on my plant shelf kind of near a grow light before, but it got too big and it doesn't fit in my shelves anymore, so yeah, I've had to move it to a windowsill. But yeah, I'm just really impressed with how well it's doing at the moment and really enjoying growing this one. And then another plant that's doing really well for me is this one here. This is the Pepperomia Obtrusphogia, and I'm actually quite surprised by this one. This is my first growing season with this one, and I'm really shocked at how fast this one's grown. It's just absolutely gone mad. It was pretty small when I got it, and it's definitely grown significantly. If I turn it round, that's kind of the way it's been facing at the window, so the leaves are kind of growing that way at the moment. But yeah, I'm just really surprised at this one, how fast it's growing. It's it seems to be one of my fastest growing plants, and to be fair, I did get this one from a supermarket, and I honestly didn't know whether it would be okay, even whether it would take off, so to speak, because I often find with supermarket plants that they can be not very healthy and it's a bit of a gamble. But this one in particular seems to be quite hardy because it's got through the initial stage of acclimating to my home. Maybe I bought it soon enough that it wasn't too neglected by the time I bought it, but yeah, it's just really surprised me. And the leaves are so beautiful too. They're really beautiful and green and kind of glossy. See how glossy the leaves are? This is a really common plant. I mean, you can probably get it anywhere, but I think it's really nice. It's one of those unsung heroes, I think. Yeah, I really like it. It even has kind of a bit of a burgundy tinge to the stems, if you see there, which I really like. But yeah, this one has definitely surprised me. As I say, I wasn't expecting it to be fast. To be honest, it wasn't really one of my favourite plants. I just kind of have it on my kitchen windowsill, and I think, oh well, maybe it'll do okay, maybe it won't. And I didn't really care about it all that much, but now that I'm seeing it kind of flourishing and taking off, I'm getting quite excited, and it's yeah, it's quite satisfying to grow. So if you're considering Pepperomia Obtrusphogia, give it a go. It's definitely really easy. Another plant I'm really surprised by this year is my philodendron Jose Bruno, and every time I show this to you it has got bigger. And just look at this leaf here, this new leaf, it is absolutely huge. It did actually come out much smaller than this, and then it expanded as it grew, and I wasn't really expecting that because I wasn't sure whether the leaves came out at a certain size and then they didn't get bigger. Some plants, their growth pattern, they'll come out with a full size leaf and that's it, it won't grow. Other plants will come out with a smaller leaf and then it will expand a bit, but this one's definitely expanded and it really is an absolutely beautiful leaf. But it's already putting out a new one there, and yeah, it just tends to start pumping out a new leaf before the previous one is even hardened off. And as I said before, this one has really surprised me in how fast it's grown and how fast it's sizing up, because it didn't have a great deal of leaves when I bought it. It was a very small plant. I bought this one from Grow Tropicals and it's just growing so fast. I mean, some philodendrons do take their time, I have to say. Leaves tend to get stuck, but I've never had a stuck leaf with this one yet. I mean, it might happen, but I'm just finding this to be one of the easiest philodendrons and, as I say, one of the fastest growing. And I just absolutely love it. It has everything I want in a plant. If you're thinking of getting a plant, definitely get one of these because they're so satisfying to grow. And yeah, mine's really surprised me. Every day I find this one fun to kind of have a look at and see what it's doing, because it really does look different every day. The leaves change colour, it's always putting out a new leaf, and yeah, it just seems to be really happy. And the other thing I love about this one is the leaves kind of droop a bit when it's thirsty, so that tells me that it wants watering. At the moment I am still checking the soil as well as when it starts to droop, just to make sure. I tend to do that when I've got a plant. Just for the first kind of 6 to 12 months, I'll be a little bit more careful as I learn how the plant's watering needs change through the seasons. But yeah, as you can see, this one's getting very big now. It's almost overshadowing me from the camera. So yeah, I don't have a bad word to say about this one so far. It's just been absolutely brilliant. Next I have Truscantia Violet Hill. This is another one that, it was just tiny when I got it. And it really has grown so fast. And I suppose I'm not really surprised in this case because it is a Truscantia and they do grow fast, but it's just been really fun to watch how fast this one has grown, because I had it when it was so small, and I think I've repotted it at least 2 times. I don't know, maybe even 3, but I've definitely repotted it a couple of times. And it just keeps growing. Every time I repot it, it really is root bound. The roots are forming the shape of the pot, so it really does need repotting very often. Yeah, a lot of plants, they don't tend to need repotting that often, maybe every year, sometimes even every 2. But this one, it seems to need repotting 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a season. Yeah, I've never known a plant like it, but it is just getting so huge. And yeah, I've been trying my best to keep up with the watering on this one. It gets very thirsty, and presumably that's because it's doing a lot of growing, and yeah, its roots are filling the pot very quickly. I kind of anticipate that I will probably have to give it another repot before the growing season's out. But yeah, Truscantia Violet Hill, another one that kind of is going through its pretty stage right now, and yes, it will eventually go through an ugly stage, and that's fine. Most plants do that anyway, actually, even plants that are not Truscantias. I often have a plant where it will look really beautiful for a while, and then it will go through something like pests or winter or something, and it will look terrible for a little while, but then it will bounce back. And that's one of the great things about plants. They teach us about the natural cycles in life. Another really cool little plant that's growing fast for me at the moment is this little guy, Pepperomia Rotund, no, not rotundifolia, Pepperomia prostrata, that's it, otherwise known as string of turtles. And I just adore this one. I love watching it grow. Again, this one was just a teeny tiny little tot. Well, officially it was 2 tiny little tots in a pot, so it started off incredibly small. And yeah, I've just been really enjoying this one. I think it's one of my favourite plants at the moment. Definitely happy that I have this one, and yeah, it's just bringing me a lot of joy. And it really got over its repot fine as well. I know some people are a bit worried about repotting this one because it can be a little sensitive, but mine, I definitely handled it very gently during the repot, and it really did come through it fine. It was, yeah, it was fine. It didn't suffer at all, it seems. I keep this one not too close to my grow light. I don't like to get it too close because you've got to be careful with grow lights. They can burn plants if they get too close to the leaves. They can get quite hot. But this one does like bright indirect light, but it doesn't like to be too near to the grow light. It does get natural light too. I do get natural light in here, but I do supplement most of my plants with grow lights just because I live in a place where the light isn't all that great, especially when you have loads of plants. I think the light that I have here would probably be sufficient if I had maybe just a few plants like a normal person, but because I have so many, there's just not enough light for everything, so I do have to supplement a little bit with grow lights. And as usual, one of my fastest growers right now is my string of hearts. Look at that. This one really does continue to grow incredibly quickly, and yeah, I've forgotten how big it was now. It's just got so big. It definitely wasn't this big when I brought it home. Yeah, I do now have to kind of hold it up, and I'm glad I bought not the smallest specimen, but I'm also glad I bought a decent size as well, because I think maybe the fact that the plant was well established has helped it to grow fast. But either way, I think it's gorgeous. This one's got a bit of pink on the backs of the leaves too. I don't know if it shows up on camera. I'm not sure if this is the variegated version or not. I really don't know, to be honest with you. It may or may not be. It does have pink on the backs, but I'm not sure. But either way, I absolutely love it. And yeah, it looks really delicate. I know it looks like it could easily break, but I don't actually get a huge amount of breakage on this plant, even when I'm watering it. Occasionally you'll get one or two of the hearts fall off. It does also obviously, of course, lose a few leaves here and there naturally, as the plants do lose their lower leaves as they create new ones. But it's not actually as delicate as you think. It tends to kind of retain its leaves pretty well, even when I'm handling it. Like right now, there's no loss of leaf, no loss of leaf. It's doing fine, but yeah, really surprised by how fast this one grows. At the moment, I've got it trailing, but I think it would probably look quite nice draped like this across the shelf. I've never really thought of it in that way. It's only now that I'm kind of holding it up that I'm thinking that would look quite nice if you were to kind of drape it across a shelf. I don't know, but then it might attach to the shelf and it might be difficult to get it off when I water it. But yeah, if you're thinking of getting one of these, definitely do. Once you know the care for these, they are pretty easy. You just have to make sure that you don't overwater it, let it dry out between waterings, and make sure the whole plant is getting a really good dose of bright indirect light, including the top of the plant and all of the vines too. That's what I've been doing, and it's really simple to care for. So this next one is one that has actually surprised me again. This is my string of pearls, and I'm actually quite surprised at how fast this one's growing. I wouldn't say it was the fastest on my list of fastest growing, if that makes sense, but it definitely is quite fast growing. I mean, the vines were, I think, about here when I got it. It's grown way more than I imagined it would. And I know this is going to sound a bit weird, but this is kind of one of those plants that you don't notice growing. You know, with some plants, the new leaves are really obvious, but with this one, it kind of, I don't know, it's just more difficult to see the new ones. They obviously come out quite small and then they expand, but I never quite seem to catch them, and I can never work out which are the new leaves. So it's quite interesting in that way. But yeah, this one has definitely surprised me a lot, and it seems pretty easy to care for so far too. I mean, I haven't had it that long, so I can't really tell you if I'm going to run into any problems as we go into winter, but so far during the growing season, this one is growing so well. And I know this is a bit of a love-hate plant. Some of you love it, some of you hate it, and that's absolutely fine. I've got to be honest with you, I didn't actually used to like this plant either, but for some reason it just wasn't the right time for me, and there's a fungus gnat, off you go, thank you. Yep, you'll notice I have quite a few fungus gnat traps around at the moment. You may see some bright yellow stickers here and there. That's because there are a few around, so yeah, I've just been catching them with those. They are really good though, they do work. But anyway, back to this plant, yeah. I didn't actually used to like this one when I first kind of started out with plants. I don't even know why, because I absolutely love it now. I don't know, I guess our tastes change, but yeah, I absolutely love it. It also feels really cool. It's quite a tactile plant. It almost, you feel a sort of, I can't explain it, but yeah, if you have one, just gently put them in your hands and go like that, and you almost feel them kind of moving against one another. It's a bit like, I suppose it's almost a bit rubbery, it feels like, but yeah, really interesting plant, and for me it's grown quite fast, I would say. It could be different for everyone, of course. That's something I would say, that what's growing fast for you is going to vary a lot compared to what's growing fast for me, because as I always say, it always depends on where you are in the world, what your conditions are, etc. But anyway, on with the video. Definitely one of my fastest growers at the moment is my purple passion plant, because these were just tiny little cuttings that I took. I restarted this plant, and yeah, I'm just really impressed with how big it's getting and how the leaves are actually sizing up pretty good, and I think that's probably mostly down to my grow light. But considering these were just tiny little cuttings in a pot, and they're now looking like a lovely new full plant, I'm really impressed. And yeah, grow light is definitely the way to go with this one for sure, and I just think this is a really fun plant. I'm really glad that it recovered. It propagated really well, so yeah, if yours isn't doing too well and you're considering propagating it, it does propagate really well, for me at least, during the spring and summer. And yeah, it's another tactile plant. It's got lovely little furry hairs on it, and it really is a fun plant to grow. Definitely fast growing if you give it enough light. That's the key, I think. If you've got a plant in low light, it probably isn't going to grow fast, but if you give it lots of lovely bright and direct light, it probably will grow fast for you. Now, I am actually about to contradict myself now, because I've just said to you that plants don't grow fast in low light, but this one here is an exception. This is the Epiprem Orium, otherwise known as apothos or devil's ivy, and this one here in particular, this is the standard one, and I'm finding this one's growing really fast. And as I say, I actually do have this one in low light. I actually bought it specifically to put it in a low light situation, because there was an area of my home where I wanted to put it where it was low light. The reason I brought it over here is because where it is, it's just too dark for me to film, so I brought it over here to show you. But yeah, this is an exception to the rule. This one is growing pretty well. I mean, it doesn't get zero light, so I don't want to mislead you, but compared to my other plants, it is getting low light. You know, it's a good distance from the window, and it still grows really fast. So this one really is an excellent plant for anyone who is looking for something that is just going to be really fuss free. Not only does it grow fast, it's very easy to care for, very low maintenance, and yeah, it's already getting to the top of this pole. I'm not sure what I'm going to do when it gets to the top, but it is what it is. We shall see. I can't just keep going to the ceiling. I guess I will have to let it go a little bit wild at some point. But yeah, this one is a really fast grower. I mean, I have mine in low light, so imagine if you were to put it in bright and direct light, it would probably grow even faster for you. But if you're the kind of plant parent that really doesn't want to have to fuss over your plants, and you want to be able to forget your plants, get on with your life, this is a really good one. I know a lot of people are bored of it now, but I think it's a really good option if you have an area in your home where you don't have much light. I tend to choose specific plants if I have an area with a specific amount of light. When I buy a plant, I try to think where I'm going to put it, how much light it's going to get, that kind of thing. I used to just buy plants for the hell of it and then fit them in later, but as I kind of get more into plants, I'm thinking more about where I want to put the plants, what the environment is like and stuff like that. And then I'm buying specific plants for those spots, like for example this one I bought specially for my low light area in the living room. Now I can't really make a video about fast growing plants unless I show you my Filend Brazil. Yeah, this one's growing so fast I can't even get it all in the shot. It's just so prolific, this one. It just grows so fast. And yeah, it's getting very heavy. This pot is very heavy. This is another one that is just so low maintenance and grows so fast. This one's really easy to get hold of. We see it absolutely everywhere, and yeah, just look at all that. It's absolutely huge. I don't know what to do with it. I am actually planning to put it on a pole and I haven't got around to it yet. It's next on my list. I have recently done a whole load of plant chores and this one is definitely next on my list, but just look at all that dense growth. This is definitely one of the fastest growing philodendrons. If you are looking for something that you can get very quick satisfaction from, this is definitely a good option for you. I could highly recommend it. It has some really pretty variegation on it as well, and yeah, the variegation comes out differently depending on how much light it's getting too, which is really interesting. I really like that when a plant does that. I really hope you enjoyed today's video with all of these fast growing plants. Let me know in the comments what your fastest growing plants are at the moment and what time of year it is, what your environment's like, that kind of thing. I'd love to know what is growing well for you at the moment and whereabouts in the world you are. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.